The first movie I went to see, I do remember vividly, it was Pinocchio, Walt Disney's Pinocchio, with the preview about the Vienna Boys Choir. And I'm surprised I ever went back because it scared the crap out of me. Monster the Whale was the most frightening thing I could have ever imagined. And I left the theater and I had nightmares for a week.
All-time best film memory was Christmas Day, 1977. And the whole family went to the Varsity Theater in downtown Des Moines, which was a really big kind of old school theater, and we saw Star Wars.
The Sound of Music was a really big one. I think I was about 6 or 7 years old then, and we saw it at a theater that actually had some type of stereo or some type of super sound system, and I think that was the first movie I saw with helicopter shots in it, The Sound of Music, and still have a crush on Julie Andrews and the whole thing.
When Grease came out in that high school time period, and standing in the Western Mall watching the line of people curl around that center court at the time, just trying to get in to see this movie. And it was the first time I ever got to go to a movie by myself that wasn't a G-rated movie.
Well, we did go to drive-ins when I was in high school. And again, I saw things that were probably not morally suasive at the time. That was where I saw my first R-rated film, which was in fact Candy, which I think was the first R-rated film, if I'm not mistaken.
Movies that have, really kind of become part of my life or part of my family's life. Field of Dreams was kind of like that, and the James Earl Jones thing. But so many of those things kind of are cyclical, So yeah, the movie's about baseball, but it's about life's cycles and stuff like that. So a lot of that stuff kind of goes around and comes around. Actually, several baseball movies were really weaved their way into our family's lore.
I have to say, the humorous times are when I go to the movies with my mother. Every time I go to a movie with my mom likes to shout at the screen, even when we go to Cinema Falls showings. Every time something shocks her or something unexpected happens, she goes, "No!" And I'm like, "Shh." And she keeps yelling at the screen. I'm like, "Mom, they can't hear you." And she's like, "Well, I can't help it. I just get so into the movie." And I just think it's such a humorous time, and I'm always laughing at her.
There are people who want to see these movies in a theater, not just downloaded from iTunes. That's very convenient. That's something I feel pretty strongly about. I think movies were meant to be seen in theaters, in theatrical settings. Once it becomes something else, it becomes something else. It's not a movie. It's not a film. It's an app. And that's fine. That's fine, but it's not the same thing.
The shared consciousness that happens, the reactions to funny things or emotional things, and just sharing that entire experience with strangers, being touched in a way that you can see everybody is impacted that way. And it's such a unique experience to just have that sense of togetherness. You're going through this journey together.
I think for these people, film as a narrative and visual art presents stories, tells stories in ways that are unique and that are vitally important to our understanding, our aesthetic understanding of the world.
By seeing these independent films, we're seeing some outstanding work from up-and-coming directors long before they get their big studio release, and you really get a chance to kind of fall in love with them at the beginning of their careers.
You're getting a different aspect, whether it be a film from another country or a film that's just a different genre that you wouldn't usually see, or films from the Oscars. You don't get a chance to see these very often, and it's really a once-in-a-lifetime chance. I mean, I've seen movies from Norway, from Sweden, that I would never have gotten to see, that I really, really enjoy.
I really love being part of this community. I really love how film makes this planet just a little bit smaller, and I'm really proud to be a citizen of Cinema Falls.
I am proud to be a citizen of Cinema Falls.
My ritual is sneaking in junior mints, but don't tell anybody.
Take.